What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're reacting to part 6 of the SpongeBob Conspiracy Compilation. But for those that are seeing the compilation, this is the 6th video that I made involving this video. Today we're reacting to the Goofy Goober Alien Death Cult Theory and the Squidward Director Theory. Now, on the previous part, or previous video, whichever works in this case scenario, there was mentioned that this next mini theory is supposedly going to explain some of the stuff from the SpongeBob movie, and we just had to wait till we actually get to see it. And yeah, we're on the part right now. And this, okay, I can't honestly keep, okay, I got it. So, the alien death cult theory, it's a interesting bit, I'm not gonna lie. And it has some interesting details. So, yeah. And as a reminder for all of those that are watching, who have been watching, or are new to this thing, and this was on your recommendations, so you want to see what's up. What's going on is that I have already reacted to these conspiracies, not the mini theories, the actual conspiracies. But Alex Bale has added some new stuff that here change a bit of the theory itself, new details or information, and so on and so forth, that kind of stuff. I'm going to be reacting to those parts more specifically, while also reacting to the mini theory. But yeah, other than that, not much else to say when it comes down to it. So, yeah. So, other than that, be sure to give Alex Bale some love and support for the video that he's made. Give him credit for all the hard work he's done, and so on and so forth. And if you enjoyed this reaction video, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button, be notified immediately when your video comes out. Other than that, yeah, let's get right on to this video. And the link to this video is going to be down in the description below. I think I already said that, but just in case. So with this said, let's start, shall we?
That's right, you read the title correctly. This is the Goofy Goober Alien Death Cult Theory, and no, I am not joking. This seemingly innocent ice cream parlor is a front for something very sinister. The beloved SpongeBob movie actually has a much darker and tragic meaning to it. I am being 100% serious when I tell you that I think this is my best, most convincing theory yet. And if you thought my evolution theory was dark, well, get ready. This is the Goofy Goober Alien Death Cult Theory. Oh boy, Alex has finally lost his mind. Goofy Goober Alien Death Cult Theory? What, did he make that in a random word generator? Some people have already found this, but I hit a bunch of teasers for future theories in this random word generator. We got Robot Apocalypse, Ghost Pirate, and even Meet Muse Spore for...
Oh, so that's where the titles came. Oh, I thought he just cleverly put it together, but he used an actual word generator to tease the... Oh wait, no, he did tease. Oh, okay, I get it. It's just we have to figure it out. Alright, that's pretty clever. Pretty interesting, too.
When the series just became full films. Just a fun way to foreshadow things. Huh, I wonder if there's any teasers for future projects hidden in this video. Goofy Goobers is an old-fashioned ice cream parlor that first appeared in the SpongeBob movie. It's the very definition of a fun, innocent place for children. So, how on earth did I come to the conclusion that it's actually an alien death cult? In fact, what even is an alien death cult? Usually, it's a religious group that wants you to believe that one day aliens will come to Earth and take the members of the cult to a better place. And in order to get there, they have to commit mass suicide. The most infamous example of this being Heaven's Gate. Like I said, this is going to be a very dark video with some serious subject matter. So, how does this have anything to do with Goofy Goobers? In the more recent seasons of SpongeBob, they've started referencing Goofy Goobers again. In fact, there's even an episode called The Goofy Newbie where Patrick gets a job there. And it's in this episode when Patrick is watching an employee training video that I first realized there was something more going on here.
The story of our ice cream begins with our founder, Reginald Goober, who for some unexplained reason was nicknamed Goofy. In 1842, he headed west in a covered ice cream wagon. He served his warm ice cream on rocks and sticks. From those humble beginnings, Goofy Goober has grown into a multi-billion-dollar business.
You know, it's a pretty standard company video. They just want their employees to wash their hands and keep their work area clean.
We only ask that you, 1, practice good hygiene, 2, maintain good work habits,
Nothing out of the ordinary, except there's one more thing that they want you to do.
and 3, believe in extraterrestrials.
Peace, hugs, and ice cream!
Huh. An organization that wants you to believe in aliens. That couldn't be a Heaven's Gate reference in SpongeBob, could it? No, that's crazy. And even if it was, it could just be a random throwaway gag. There's no way Goofy Goobers is actually a cult, right? But then I started to rewatch every appearance of Goofy Goobers, and things took on a whole new meaning. One of the most basic ideas of a cult is that they strip you of your individuality and make you change your entire identity to be about the cult. And that's exactly what Goofy Goobers does. Everyone there wears Goofy Goober uniforms just like a cult. I mean, what other restaurant has not just employees, but customers that always dress up in a specific way? And their theme song that is constantly repeated and reinforced is just the simple line,
I'm a Goofy Goober, yeah. You're a Goofy Goober, yeah. We're all Goofy Goobers, yeah.
I'm a Goofy Goober, you're a Goofy Goober, we're all Goofy Goobers. It is literally just a song saying that your whole identity is based around Goofy Goobers, and that's it. And in the SpongeBob movie, there's a scene where SpongeBob and Patrick have to try their best to not sing along to the theme song, and it literally causes them intense pain to not sing along.
Don't sing along, Patrick!
I'm trying so hard.
It's as if they've been brainwashed and physically can't stop themselves from singing it. And you can't even just chalk this up to SpongeBob and Patrick being weirdos. 2 other fish can't stop themselves from singing along, even though it means they'll get beat up for it.
Goofy, Goofy, Goober, Goobers, yeah!
And just like how many cults have an icon or god that they worship, Goofy Goobers has the dancing peanut mascot that's all over the restaurant's branding. I mean, just look at how excited all the kids are when he comes out.
Goofy Goober!
Alright, but just because kids like a mascot doesn't mean that they have some kind of religious worship for them. Well, if you don't believe me, take it from SpongeBob himself.
Open your eyes, Patrick! We blow bubbles, we eat ice cream, we worship a dancing peanut for corn's sake!
We do not worship him.
Patrick, you've been wearing the same Goofy Goober peanut party underpants for 3 years straight! What do you call that?
Worship?
Oh, yo! That's a bit damning.
Even in the SpongeBob movie video game, there's even a Goofy Goober token that reads, "In Goofy we trust," replacing the word God with Goofy. Things are looking awfully culty, aren't they? Cults will also often create reading material about their beliefs for their followers to read, and Goofy Goobers is no exception to this. In the new SpongeBob spin-off, The Patrick Star Show, we see a Goofy Goober employee reading some kind of book about ice cream. And look at him, he's not busy working, he's choosing to read this in his downtime. I mean, compare him to Squidward, who sometimes reads in his downtime at work. It's not like he's reading about the Krusty Krab. This book looks a lot like it's a doctrine for a cult's beliefs. A major part of how cults get so successful is by getting their followers to give them money. Now, obviously Goofy Goobers charges people for ice cream, but they actually convince their followers to trade their money for a made-up Goofy Goober currency.
I don't know what Plankton's paying you, but if you let us go, I can make it worth your while.
What is this?
That, sir, is $5 goober dollars. Legal tender at any participating Goofy Goober.
This would explain how the Goofy Goober founder, an idiot who sold ice cream on rocks and sticks, turned the company into a multi-billion-dollar franchise. He convinced people to believe that aliens would one day take them to a better place and got them to give him all their money. Another tactic that cults use to indoctrinate people is overloading them with compliments and making them feel special, and that's exactly what Goofy Goobers does to Patrick when he gets a job there. The training video says that they appreciate him.
Hello and welcome. As a new Goofy Goober employee, we'd like you to know that we appreciate you.
And then his manager says the exact same thing.
I'm your manager, and I want you to know that I appreciate you.
And then despite Patrick messing up and causing chaos, the manager says it once again.
I'll give you another chance tomorrow. If it doesn't work out, I'm afraid you're fired. In a most appreciative way.
There is no reason for the manager to be this appreciative of Patrick after all the terrible work he's done. He's just trying to emotionally manipulate him. The tactic is especially effective on vulnerable people like children, and we see this in the Patrick Star Show. Not only did Patrick start eating Goofy Goober ice cream when he was young, and eventually ended up working there and worshipping their god, but this green kid also grew up to become an employee at Goofy Goobers. There's a clear pattern here. Kids who eat the ice cream all eventually join the cult.
That's not the same person, bro. The teeth are different. He got more teeth. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's a stretch.
Alright, yeah, I agree they look different, but this isn't even like a theory. This scene is literally a flashback from the Peanut Guy's perspective. The show...
Yeah, that does seem like it. I mean, that's the kind of flashback you get to see from a character trying to remember something from their past that we usually get to see on TV. That's usually how it is when it comes to this kind of flashback. So, yeah, that kid from back then that was eating ice cream with Patrick is that guy. It's unnerving how he's reacting right now. I'm not gonna lie.
directly telling us that they're the same person. They are specifically targeting children for indoctrination, but their manipulation goes far beyond just psychological tactics. Trust me, we've just scratched the surface of how far Goofy Goobers will go to brainwash its members. Things are about to get darker.
Hold on, this is kind of getting weird. I'm getting goosebumps. Yo, this is weird!
There's a part in the SpongeBob movie where SpongeBob and Patrick go to Goofy Goobers and eat tons of ice cream all night to the point where they become completely drunk off of it. It's a really funny scene, but it begs the question, why does the ice cream get them drunk? Maybe that's just how ice cream works in the SpongeBob universe, and it's the show's way of making a family-friendly alcohol reference. But we've seen other instances where characters eat tons of ice cream and it doesn't have this effect on them. Alright, well, maybe this was just a one-time gag for the movie, and it's not a consistent part of the continuity. But in the Season 11 episode, Call the Cops, we get this scene.
One too many Goofy Goobers again, eh, Patrick?
So, another deliberate reference to Goofy Goober ice cream having a weird alcoholic effect on people. Is it possible that they put something in the ice cream to make people more open to cult indoctrination? Cults have been known to use drugs to keep their followers obedient and suggestible, one of the most infamous examples of this being Charles Manson, who used LSD to convince his followers of his beliefs. If this is the case with Goofy Goobers, they'd probably want to make sure everyone there eats as much ice cream as possible, and the Goofy Goober building is actually cleverly designed in a way to ensure that this happens. There are no windows in the entire building, so you can't tell whether it's day or night. And the Goofy Goober clock just has random numbers on it, so it's impossible to keep track of time. Because of this, SpongeBob eats ice cream all night and is actually late for work for the very first time. Also, can I point out the fact that the eyes on the clock seem to follow Patrick around in the Goofy Newbie? It's a really creepy and specific detail to include. I mean, we know from the movie that the eyes are usually supposed to be looking straight ahead, but here they're always watching Patrick, their next target for indoctrination. Now, if the ice cream is what keeps their followers in line, they definitely want to make sure their employees were eating as much as possible. And it turns out, Goofy Goobers actually has a policy about this.
Wow, I can't believe Goofy Goober's employees get to eat all the ice cream they want on this job.
The employees get to eat all the ice cream they want. very interesting. And there's evidence to suggest that the ice cream can do a lot more than just make you suggestible. At the beginning of the Goofy Newbie, Patrick is holding up the line asking for samples of ice cream. The employee he's talking to gets frustrated and calls for security to kick him out.
You sampled every flavor we have. Will you please just pick one?
I would like you to use my spoon.
Security, we have a sample mooch at the counter.
But there's something oddly familiar about this employee. Hang on a second. Isn't that Patrick's sister? The new spin-off, The Patrick Star Show, is a prequel to the main show that introduces us to Patrick's little sister, Squidina. And here, we see her all grown up, working at Goofy Goobers. She's even credited as Squidina and has the same voice actor.
No, it's not. Look at the head. You're saying the hat. No, the hat. Look at her head. Her head right here is thinking the hat. You're telling me when she grow, her head not gonna get bigger? BS.
Again, I agree the designs look different, but the show is telling us in the credits that they're supposed to be the same character. This isn't a me problem, this is the show's problem, not mine. Also, this is another theory where I don't really have much new stuff to add, so I'm just...
I mean, it's not impossible that this person who is Patrick's little sister becomes the employee from Goofy Goofers. I mean, think about it like this. One, she could switch glasses to contacts. Her vision could have gone better. So on and so forth. It's not a totally confirmed thing that she isn't the employee that we saw. So yeah, it's... I don't know how else to go about it. It just makes sense, really. I mean, it's been years, so... Actually, what was the time difference between the prequel and the main show? That would actually decide if the employee is her, in all honesty. That'd probably be the only way to get the answer.
Just gonna respond to this guy's reaction video because I think he's really funny. In the Patrick Star Show, we actually do see her eating Goofy Goober ice cream as a kid, which fits with the pattern of kids who eat the ice cream eventually getting indoctrinated into the cult. Now, Squidina and Patrick have a very close, loving relationship in the Patrick Star Show, but here, they act like they're total strangers. It's not surprising that Patrick would forget his own sister, but Squidina is always portrayed as being smart. It's almost like she completely forgot about him. One of the biggest tactics that cults use to indoctrinate people is isolating them from their friends and family to make them more vulnerable and dependent on the cult. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with Squidina. She has no memory of her family. The ice cream might just be affecting her memory as well. I mean, if she was just meant to be some random reusable character here with no continuity, why would the creators go out of their way to specifically credit her as Squidina, unlike the other random employees who are just credited as employee? Feels like they're deliberately trying to draw attention to it.
Oh, never mind. She has the same name, so I can't debate it. They're the same name.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Never mind. At the end of the Goofy Newbie, Patrick goes crazy and eats a ton of the ice cream, and then the episode ends in a very interesting way.
Peace, hugs, and ice cream.
Now, I don't think Patrick was actually abducted by aliens. I mean, we see him on Earth in the very next episode, and the UFO has the same fake look as the one in the training video. I think that because of all the ice cream he ate, he now fully accepts the Goofy Goober's beliefs, and it's caused him to hallucinate the UFO. So, at this point, I'd say we can make a very strong case for Goofy Goobers being a cult, but with this realization comes a very dark and tragic new meaning for the SpongeBob movie. Believe me, you will never look at that movie the same way again. The 2004 SpongeBob movie is my favorite thing to come out of the franchise. It's funny, it's emotional, and it encapsulates everything great about SpongeBob. In this movie, SpongeBob goes on a journey of self-discovery and realizes that he doesn't need to change who he is and grow up to fit into society. He just has to embrace his inner kid and be himself. It's a great message that feels really fitting for the character. But if you replace the word kid with Goofy Goober, SpongeBob's arc takes on a whole new meaning. It's not about SpongeBob embracing being himself. It's about SpongeBob fully accepting the indoctrination and beliefs of the Goofy Goober cult. The movie starts with SpongeBob not getting promoted to manager of the new Krusty Krab, a job that he desperately wanted and believed that he would get. When he finds out that Squidward got chosen instead of him, it completely destroys him. Cults will target vulnerable people who are at extremely low points, and the first place that SpongeBob goes to after having his heart broken is Goofy Goobers. After a night of getting drunk off of ice cream, he becomes resentful of Mr. Krabs and decides to tell him off.
I deserve that manager's job, but you didn't give it to me, because you say I'm a kid. Well, I am 100% man, and this man has got something to say to you.
In fact, if King Neptune didn't interrupt and try to kill Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob probably would have quit and been fully able to join the cult. SpongeBob and Patrick go on a quest to retrieve Neptune's crown, and it's almost like every obstacle they face along the way is specifically designed to make SpongeBob and Patrick realize the dark truth about Goofy Goobers, but they fail to do so at every turn. So, they first stop at this tough guy bar that's full of men who beat up anyone that isn't manly enough. But I think there's actually a lot more going on here than it seems. This place actually has an insane amount of similarities to the Goofy Goober ice cream parlor. They're both shaped like boats, they both have bikes out front and a bar inside, and they both have two-word titles that start with the same letter, Goofy Goobers and Thug Tug. Is it possible that this place is actually a former Goofy Goobers establishment that was abandoned? I mean, they literally have the Goofy Goober theme song on hand.
SpongeBob, it's the Goofy Goober theme song!
And they claim that no kids are allowed here, yet we see some old kid-sized handprints in the bathroom.
How the fuck you know those are kid-sized handprints? It could just be a different breed of fish.
You know what? I actually agree with you on this one, man. The handprint's definitely worse.
No, he's actually kind of right. Because if we think about it that way, SpongeBob's hands are probably a bit smaller than an adult-sized hand of a fish, so it actually does make sense that it wouldn't really match up by calling it like kid hands when in actuality it could be someone like SpongeBob and their hands are probably a lot smaller. Yeah, I would like to say they're kids, they're small enough to be kids, but at the same time, when I'm looking at it, I'm not really seeing it either. It's like a weird mix I'm getting by looking at it.
Stretch, I'm better than that, that's my bad. If this really is a former Goofy Goobers, then these guys would probably know the truth about the cult, which would explain why they're so against having anyone who's not manly in the bar. It's not because they hate kids, it's because they're trying to keep out a dangerous cult. If SpongeBob and Patrick just stuck around a little longer, maybe they would have learned this too, but they quickly sneak out and even make fun of the tough guys at the bar.
Come on, Pat, one more time.
Again. We're on a baby hunt. I don't think we don't know how to weed them out.
Clearly, they didn't get the lesson they were supposed to from this place. Then they go through a fish graveyard and stop at a random ice cream stand, but it turns out it was actually a trap for a monster to lure unsuspecting victims.
Okay, Patrick, you can let go now.
An ice cream store that's a facade for something darker that lures people in and keeps them trapped. It's like the ocean is literally screaming the truth to SpongeBob and Patrick, but they just aren't getting it. But then they reach an obstacle that's just too great for them to pass, and it makes them reevaluate some things about themselves.
We're not kids!
Open your eyes, Patrick! We worship a dancing peanut for corn's sake! You've been wearing the same Goofy Goober peanut party underpants for 3 years straight.
Oh, you're right, SpongeBob.
It isn't until Mindy helps them realize that they're more than just Goofy Goober kids that they can continue on their journey. They sing an entire song about how they believe in themselves now, and Patrick even says this.
Now that we're men,
I changed my underwear.
They have finally broken free from the cult's indoctrination, but Unfortunately, it doesn't last very long. They're stopped by a hitman Plankton hired to take them out, and he completely destroys all the progress they've made to grow as characters.
Step aside and you won't have to feel the awesome wrath of our mustaches.
These.
They were fake?
Of course they were fake.
They end up getting abducted by a scuba diver who, to them, is a terrifying alien from another world, which is an interesting parallel to Reginald Goober being taken by aliens. They're taken to Shell City in a room full of dead fish, a place eerily similar to a death cult after a mass suicide. While SpongeBob and Patrick are being dragged to death, they decide to fully embrace the Goofy Goober's beliefs and spend their last moments alive singing the Goofy Goober theme song.
I'm a goofy goober, yeah. You're a goofy goober, yeah. Goofy, goofy, goober, goober, yeah.
But then, just like death cults always promise, they and everyone in the room are reborn when the sprinkler system turns on.
This shit is dark as hell. He is not playing.
They're literally dying for this fucking cause. Oh my god. No. No, it's getting too much. No. No.
Hey, wait a second. I thought you said the whole SpongeBob movie was fake, and I thought you said Shell City was...
Yeah, that's... I know. Anything mentioning the movie is going to be mentioned in the next theory. I'm really curious what this mini theory going on is all about, because it just seems like it has some like big implications when it comes to the movie in general. So I'm kind of curious
It's
what it's
actually
all
full
about.
of victims from the human war. I'll get back to this in the mini theory, but it makes sense, trust me. Then we get to the climactic finale of the movie. SpongeBob returns to the Krusty Krab, now a changed man. He has to battle Plankton and his army of mind-controlled slaves, and this is how the final confrontation plays out.
And if I've learned anything during that time, it's that you are who you are. So yeah, I'm a kid, and I'm also a goofball, and a wingnut, and a knucklehead McSpagatron.
What's going on here?
But most of all, I'm...
Hey, settle down.
I'm...
Take it easy.
I'm...
What the scallop?
I'm a goofy goober!
I'm a Goofy Goober. On first watch, this is such a satisfying and cathartic moment for SpongeBob, but in reality, this is the moment that he has gone past the point of no return and becomes a Goofy Goober. Now, this is normally when I pretend like the video was over and then surprise you with a last-minute twist, but I don't need to pretend this time. If you think this entire video has been insane rambling and none of this could possibly be intentional, well then just for you, I have saved my best piece of evidence for last. Are you ready? While SpongeBob sings the Goofy Goober song, we cut to him standing on the world and getting abducted by a UFO. And even the UFO's lights make a pattern of red, yellow, red, which is eerily similar to the Goofy Goober UFO that has 2 red cherries with a yellow banana in the middle. And that is the Goofy Goober alien death cult theory.
I don't even know what to say. We lost him. We lost Patrick. We lost him and Patrick. They're done. Bro, it's over.
Yup, they got him. They got him. Patrick, they got you, gang.
I'm crying. I shed a real tear.
Comes the Goofy Goober. Now, this is...
Oh damn, everyone's not taking that information well.
I do believe it. I mean, I think it's passable. It's definitely passable. I'm not mad at it. It's not a bad theory. I mean, it goes pretty well.
Thank you, Wacka, and thank you all of the reactors. Love you guys.
Why do you keep recommending Alex Bale? Let's see. Oh, it's the SpongeBob Conspiracy guy.
Oh damn. Okay, when it comes to this theory, I'm gonna have to admit, first time watching it, it got me chills. Like, it got me thinking on everything I've known about SpongeBob for a while. Like, every piece of information from this, it actually got me pausing and thinking. And when SpongeBob comes up on TV because one of my siblings wanted to watch it, it just made me pause and wonder, should I allow them to watch this? Like, I actually thought this. I actually thought this process when it came down to it. Because the information was a bit haunting, to say the least. It left an impression on me. Oh boy. So, that's the alien death cult. Honestly, I can understand why people would end reaction to the theory is like it's a very chilling and dark theory. So how does it do now?
Alright, the Goofy Goober Alien Death Cult Theory. Honestly, half the reason I made this theory was just because of how funny the title was. And I think that's probably why this one is gonna go in 7th place for me. That I think this is my best, most convincing theory yet. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe that statement was a little exaggerated.
Huh. I probably put it like 6. It has a bit more stuff to me compared to the Neptune theory. Yeah, other than that, that's it, really.
But I did really like this theory when I was making it, and I still definitely do. It's not a bad theory. I think there is definitely some really undeniably culty things about Goofy Goobers, but I think the biggest issue is that a lot of my evidence relies a little too much on specific real-world comparisons to real cults. I think the best fan theories mostly use evidence or the internal logic directly from the media itself, instead of trying to apply some specific outside real-world logic to something that isn't real. And
that's why. So that's the reason it's in 7th. It's because it's more using real world stuff than SpongeBob universe stuff. Okay, I can get why he would say it would be 7th place because of that detail. Okay, I can understand that, but I say it would still deserve to be in 6th. I mean, it's a great theory. It does keep you interactive, and it does keep your attention on it. I'd say a bit more than the Neptune theory, but yeah. At least that's my opinion on the matter.
it's especially the case with a surreal cartoon like SpongeBob. But even if it's not my strongest, it's still a really funny and absurd idea that surprisingly still kind of works. And why else are you even watching YouTube SpongeBob conspiracy theories if not to see something extremely stupid being taken extremely seriously and yet still somehow make sense? Okay, mini theory. So, when it comes to SpongeBob theory crafting, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie is a pretty contentious topic. Why is there no continuity between the movie and the show? Does the movie take place in the future as the canonical end of the SpongeBob timeline like many people believe? Or does it take place when it was released between season 3 and 4 and it was just a fake movie production that holds no continuity? But wait a second, if it's supposed to be a fake movie production, then why does it also seem to have a secret narrative about joining a Goofy Goober cult? Is Shell City supposed to be a mass suicide room from an alien death cult? Or are these victims from a human fish war? This is the issue with creating so many wildly different theories about the same show. Sometimes not everything is gonna line up perfectly.
I mean, it could be a mixture of both. Like, some of them are the casualties of war, and others aren't. Or maybe it's a weird mix. Like, a lot of them enjoy Goofy Goober, and they know somewhat of the cult kind of thing, but they aren't. Like, I don't know, that can be a thing, right? I don't know for sure, but I mean, it could be a thing, right?
And I was ready to just give up and take the L until I noticed something really strange in the season 3 episode As Seen on TV. In the beginning of this episode, we find out Mr. Krabs has hired Squidward to direct a Krusty Krab commercial.
We're shooting our first ever Krusty Krab commercial. I got Squidward organizing the whole thing. He's, artsy. What the? This looks expensive.
But when he sees the production Squidward put on is way bigger than he would need for just a tiny commercial, he scraps the whole thing and shoots a lower budget one himself. But there is something very strange about the production Squidward was directing. Squidward's set has a second Krusty Krab, just like the SpongeBob movie.
Well, how do you explain that? A second Krusty Krab?
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Okay, that's a weird coincidence, but whatever. But that's not all. Squidward's production also has the same giant leg with a heel and fishnet stockings that Patrick wears at the end of the SpongeBob movie.
That's right, keep moving!
You know what? Like, they're not exactly the same, but you gotta admit, this is starting to feel a little too specific to be a coincidence, right? Is it possible the production Squidward directed for the Krusty Krab commercial was actually the in-universe production for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie? This episode came out in 2002, which is the same year the real-life SpongeBob movie began production, and the similarities don't even end there. In the background, we can see a fish dressed with almost the exact same hat, red bandana, and boots as Dennis, the hitman Plankton hires in the SpongeBob movie.
He's a vicious, cold-blooded predator!
It's clearly not the same guy, but listen to what Squidward says when we see him.
Mr. Krabs, everyone needs an understudy.
What if this is Dennis's understudy? We also see Mr. Krabs' understudy, who could be the stand-in for him while he's frozen for most of the movie. And
That's actually kind of interesting, not gonna lie. Huh, interesting way to go about this. But to even accomplish this, it would take a long time to even do it. That means from day in to day out, Squidward would have to be recording for however long it would take to make a movie. And I'm not gonna lie, that seems kind of impossible. Especially with all the scenes that are of the Krusty Krab. Actually, the first half of the movie is around the Bikini Bottom, so that's one way to go about it. I'm actually gonna have to really think about that one. That this is a bit
we see a
conflicting.
guy in a giant tomato costume, and what I assume is another guy in a giant Krabby Patty costume. And I think they're supposed to be the Patty Wagon, and they're just doing some kind of visual effects that would require people to be in the suits. But regardless, there is an undeniable amount of similarities here. I think there is a very good chance that this is the actual in-universe SpongeBob movie production. But if that's all true, then why are they pretending like this is all just a commercial for the Krusty Krab?
We're making the commercial, Mr. Krabs.
Well, remember, in my television theory, most of the characters don't know they're inside of a semi-scripted TV show or movie. It's a big secret the showrunners are keeping from them, so obviously they would want to come up with some sort of cover story to keep this production a secret from the unaware characters like SpongeBob. Squidward even has SpongeBob bury himself in this episode to keep all the behind-the-scenes production a secret.
What are you doing, lad?
Squidward said I could help by burying myself.
So that means Squidward is not only a spy who's part of the television theory cover-up, but he's also the director of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And I know that sounds a little strange. Why would they choose Squidward, of all people, to direct this movie? And even if he was chosen for some reason, does this movie really feel like it was something Squidward made? Like, one of the main things we know...
I don't know about that. I mean, if that is the case, why would he act normal? Why would he legitimately react to certain things at certain times and not try to look better in front of the camera? The one way I could see it is that he would be an unknowing spy. That is to say, a spy who doesn't even know that they're a spy to begin with. Like, they're doing stuff for the people behind the scenes, but they don't know what their intentions are or all this and all that. They just, are there in the shadows. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, that could be a possibility. I'm just throwing it out there.
Know about Squidward is that he is such a self-obsessed narcissist who glorifies himself in all of his art. So why would a movie he directed be any different? Well, what if I told you it's not? In the SpongeBob TV show, Squidward is treated like this loser punching bag of a character.
Don't say anything, Squidward. Remember your karma.
But in the SpongeBob movie, for the first time ever in all SpongeBob media, Squidward is kind of presented in a surprisingly flattering way. He's the one who's given the promotion of new Krusty Krab manager because apparently he's so much more mature and responsible than SpongeBob, despite us obviously knowing how little care or effort he puts into his job. And when the entire town is dumb enough to wear Plankton's mind control helmets, Squidward is the one character who's smart enough to see through the ruse and figure out Plankton's entire plan.
You may have hoodwinked everyone else in this backwater town, but you can't fool me. You set up Mr. Krabs. You stole the crown so Neptune would freeze him and you could finally get your stubby little paws on the Krabby Patty formula. But you made one fatal mistake. You messed with my paycheck. And I'm gonna report you to the highest authority in the land, King Neptune.
Like, does that not sound like something Squidward would add to the movie to make himself look better? He even gets this really great monologue at the end of the movie to wrap things up, and it makes him seem so inspiring and poetic.
After going on your life-changing journey, you now realize you don't want what you thought you wanted. What you really wanted was inside you all along.
Of course, it gets cut off by a joke, and he doesn't actually win against Plankton, because this is still the SpongeBob movie at the end of the day, and he probably didn't actually write it, but he still manages to make himself look really good, and it's because Squidward Tentacles directed the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. I think there's a lot of evidence to support this, but I still don't really know why. Out of all the people in Bikini Bottom, why did they choose him? Well, I think it all ties back in with Goofy Goobers. In the season 12 episode,
You know, it does make sense when you think about it like that. The movie does, I don't know, makes a lot more of the other characters around it to seem, background and so on and so forth, seem dull. Heck, it makes, I don't know, when we've seen Neptune and he doesn't even have a crown. So, yeah, and all the comments that Squidward make, yeah, it does make some sense, actually.
the Goofy Newbie, we see something really strange on one of the tables.
What the heck? It looks like Squidward's head. Why does it look like Squidward's head?
A Goofy Goober ice cream that looks exactly like Squidward. Now, I noticed this back when I was first making my Goofy Goober theory, but I never really knew what to do with it. It's just this really weird background detail that makes no sense. Squidward isn't even in the episode, and we've never seen him have any interactions with Goofy Goobers. But remember, what is the one thing we know about the things Squidward creates? He always makes them in his own image. He does this with all of his art. So, if Squidward was to make ice cream, I think this is what it would look like. So, this kind of implies that Squidward does have some kind of connection with Goofy Goobers. Either he works there on the side and literally made this ice cream, or Goofy Goobers made it in his likeness because he's some sort of important member of the organization, sort of like how cults will get celebrities to join them. And if Squidward is a member of the Goofy Goobers cult, it explains why there's this secret underlying narrative about the cult in the SpongeBob movie. It's like they got the director of the movie to include some kind of subtle propaganda about how joining Goofy Goobers is the only way to set yourself free. This isn't literally a mass.
I don't know that for sure. The other possibility is that it was made to mock Goofy Goobers, like make it seem unapproachable and all that. I mean, Squidward is a part of something, because there was that one episode where he was a part of a cult, I think, that involved squids, or, octopuses. So maybe? I don't know.
Suicide room, but it was an intentional similarity made by Squidward to promote the cult's ideology. In fact, I think this also explains why Squidward was chosen by the showrunners in the first place to direct the movie. Not only is Goofy Goobers heavily featured in the SpongeBob movie, but there's also this weird implication that they had some kind of behind-the-scenes influence over it. Bear with me for a second. About halfway through the movie, we get a classic SpongeBob title card with the French narrator speaking.
Meanwhile.
But instead of the usual generic background, it's clearly Goofy Goober themed, despite the scene having nothing to do with Goofy Goobers. I think Goofy Goobers, being a multi-billion-dollar organization, helped fund the in-universe SpongeBob movie in exchange for having some influence over it. Not only were they able to include all this subtle cult propaganda in the movie, but they had the power to choose a director from their organization to include this narrative. And they chose Squidward Tentacles to become the director of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And that is the Squidward director theory.
That's that's an interesting one. I'm not gonna lie. It has its mirth, but it also has like the underlying tone that Squidward could be an unknowing spy, and he wanted to, and when putting and was given the offer of having the budget to make a movie, decided to make sure that he looked like the best person possible in the whole Krusty Krab crew, while also keeping in line with what they wanted, like anything related to SpongeBob and all that. But it also doesn't really also goes well with the cult thing. It could be the same like with the cult thing. You know how the cult Squidward isn't part of the cult, but then you gotta remember there's an episode where Squidward is part of a cult kind of thing. It's kind of cult thing. I don't know if it's a cult thing, but it was a club or something, and Squidward was a part of it. But it could also go in the other way too. Like Squidward knows that Patrick and SpongeBob go to the place a lot, and maybe he just wants to damage its reputation because of how much SpongeBob and Patrick like it. That, or he finds the place annoying. I mean, I could see him doing it for that reason too. So yeah, I mean, both sides of the theory have their own mirth, and it does work out either way. So yeah. But yes, with this all said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button, support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to notify immediately when a new video comes out. Tell me what you think about these two theories. The additional uh, evidence, proof theory, whatever, to the Goofy Goober alien cult theory and the Squidward director theory. I'd like to hear your opinions on these matters, because the Squidward one invites a lot of other potential ideas, and with the ideas that have already been given, well, it leads to more pathways than one would think. So I'd like to hear your opinion on the matter. Other than that, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Or for those with the compilation, I'll see you all in a bit with the next part. Because next we're going to react to the robot invasion theory and the alien jellyfish invasion mini theory. Jellyfish invasion? Huh, that's a weird one.